Greetings, viewers, one and all, and a special thank you to all the subscribers I've had over the past couple of weeks. My apologies for being absent. I can't speak English today. My apologies for being absent the past couple of months. Been too busy working, paying the bills, getting the mortgage on the go, and everything. So, without further ado, welcome to episode 3 of Crusty Canuck. I'm your host, Crusty, and a special shout out thank you out there to the Canadian Libertarian who gave me an interview there last week on his YouTube channel. Hats off to you there, Canadian Libertarian. We had an informed discussion about freedom, guns, identity politics, and third wave feminism. And I think this episode I will carry on with the same conversation I did with the Canadian Libertarian. So when it comes to guns, I know not everybody has a gun in Canada. Not everybody likes guns, but it's not an issue. I don't see why there are so many elected officials who have the audacity to sit in these symposiums, spending more of the taxpayers' dime on deciding how to pass more laws and how to control people, when they should be putting their bloody heads together and coming up with legislation that can put real criminals behind bars. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a crusty old veteran, right? Wrong. I'm a taxpayer, I'm a citizen. My wife is a taxpayer, she's a citizen. My neighbors, my family, my friends, etc., etc. So therefore, politicians, get your heads out of your butts and start talking to the people when it comes to about guns in this country. You know what I mean?
You forget there, Krusty. I was a Boy Scout, so I know what's best for all Canadians. I know about public safety, and I know about the carbon tax, and it's a great thing because you'll all get money back.
Why, thank you, Mr. Goodale, for that lovely little yap of yours. I have never ever seen in my life, all of my voting life, an unqualified human being to look after public safety in this country. Pathetic. Anyhow, moving on about more guns and stuff. I'm a responsible gun owner, period. I'm not here to cause any trouble, stir any drama, or trigger anybody into thinking that we're criminals, because we're not. When I was growing up, my father had 2 rifles in the back room. We had a small farm, and those rifles came in handy when coyotes were harassing our livestock. And you know what the gun safety that I was taught as a child? I was more or less pulled aside and told, don't touch it. I never did. So, if that's a consensus with our elected officials about people and their guns, well, they've got a lot to learn. Anyhow, moving on to the next subject. The Tory Stafford issue. I remember watching that in the news in 2009 when it happened. It's devastating. My hearts go out to the family and friends of that little girl. My condolences. My condolences don't go out to the prosecutors and out to the justice system in this country that said it's okay for that criminal to go to a healing lodge. She should serve her life in prison. If it was up to me, well, harming a child to that kind of that caliber, I'd personally have her shot and forgotten about. You'd save the taxpayers a lot of dollars, a lot of time and effort. Her and her boyfriend ritualistically killed this child. And for what? To get their jollies? Get their kicks? Who knows? Now, having a criminal shot, sure, it might be against the NAP, but look what those 2 people did. They didn't just hurt her. They raped her and they harmed her and they beat her to death. Where's the justice in that? Right? Shame on our justice ministers for allowing this to happen, and shame on them for playing dumb, like all these officials have done. That's enough in that case. Anyhow, moving on to the carbon tax and how both our beloved Mr. Potato and Climate Barbie, yes, of course, Miss McKenna, we all know how much she hates the term Climate Barbie now, right? Exactly.
No, you can't make fun of me because I'm beautiful and well, I'm a lawyer. And the carbon tax is good because every Canadian will get money back. That's right. You all get money back. And please, please, don't call me Barbie. I'm not a Barbie doll. I never played with toys as a child.
Well, Miss McKenna or Barbie, whatever you prefer to be called, uh, you've lost a lot in my respect, really. And I think you've lost a lot of respect for other Canadians, especially when it comes to looking after the environment. Now, what exact environmental background do you have? Okay, sure, you ride a bicycle, you spend time in the trees. Do you appreciate said trees? I don't think you do. I really don't think you have a concept or a grip in reality, especially when it comes to the carbon tax, because you're asking Canadians to shell out another 4 to 6 cents of their dollar, which your government, your bosses, take from us willingly and give away freely without any consultation to the people they work for. So, take your law degree and take your so called no attitude and your know it all this and quit taking things personally and show some bloody resilience. Think about it. You're incorporating more tax in a country that's been taxed to death, right? But hey, if you don't get elected in 2019, that's okay. You get a nice cushy pension out of 4 years of service, while us vets have to do 10 or more and have a constant paper trail to back up our claims. I wonder what kind of claim you had. How many expenses have you got in your account to travel here and travel there and talk about carbon footprints? Yet you're flying all over the country just like Mr. Potato is all the time. So the next time you talk and you're, you know, pressed with questions about what the carbon tax is, maybe you should come up with an answer rather than being a puppet. You know, you and I both know you didn't merit for said position, but hey, who am I? I'm just a crusty old veteran. Hmm? Anyway, moving on. Since we've dealt with Barbie and Mr. Goodale, let's deal with Mr. Trudeau, shall we? Jordan Peterson was quoted saying he's only in there for namesake. And I agree. And I happen to be a fan of Dr. Jordan Peterson because, well, he makes sense. You know, I follow him religiously. I also follow Janice Fiamengo and I follow Gad Sad. They're great individuals. They're great intellects, great academics, and they know their shit. It's too bad we don't have politicians like that who use common sense and courtesy and real down-to-earth logic when it comes to real human issues, right? Prime Minister Trudeau has no grip of reality. He'd rather go to India and dance like a proud boy and do nothing constructive, really. He likes to spend our money, likes to be flamboyant, hey, and he'd rather show off his socks at a NATO summit than actually come to terms with, you know, our commitments to NATO. But hey, who am I? Doesn't really matter, does it? Hmm? Well, I leave it up to you, the viewers. I leave it up to you, the Canadians that watch this show. If you disagree with Trudeau, then come 2019, he can't be gone soon enough. Am I right? What was that you said, Justin? I didn't quite hear you. It sounded like you were farting out of your face. That happens. That happens when you're full of shit and people are starting to buy into it. Well, you know, who am I to criticize? You know, I'm just a crusty old guy. You know, when I released from the armed forces, I did get a nice certificate signed by yourself, wishing me all the best. However, I don't think your party really has the veterans' affairs, quote unquote, intact. I don't think you have the best interests of the people that will lay their lives down for this country uh, intact. I really don't think that you really care. And honestly, you know, you couldn't give two shits about our troops. Really, you don't. Right? So every time you talk, I just hear that sound. You know what I mean? So nobody trusts you. Hate to say it, bud, but you dug your own grave when it comes to 2019, as far as I'm concerned. You know, you BS the people. Great, okay, sure, you brought marijuana in. Just more monopoly for you guys to line your pockets with, right? More regulation, more rules, you know, more laws, right? You can't even answer a decent question, really, especially when it comes to the stats can thing that's been going on right now. You know, why are you saying it's okay for people to look at our banking information? Why do you say it's all right to do that? Right? When you sit there and talk about democracy and diversity, what kind of diversity are you promoting with that, Justin? Hmm? What kind of diversity are you promoting with rating our personal banking information? You want to see how much more money we can give you? How much more money you can take away from the Canadian taxpayer and give here and give there to help so-called little nations out who can't do it on their own? Hmm? Whatever happened to Canadians doing it on their own? Oh, that's right. If Canadians think for themselves, we're also, we're not part of the diversity scheme. Is that it? Oh, or is it? It's racist to be self-sufficient. So you're asking me to work more days and more hours, and so you can look at my banking information. Interesting. Do you realize that the book 1984 was meant to warn you and actually meant to entertain you, not to guide you? Hmm? Why is that? Why is there even a debate on the table anywhere in Parliament when it comes to our banking information? It's none of your damn business. Really. What I do in my home with my money is my concern. What my wife does in her home and her money is her concern. Why is it the concern of the Liberal Party? Doesn't sound very liberal now, does it? Seems really totalitarian on your part. And you're a putz. Hate to say it, bud, but you're a putz. And if you do see this, by some chance, if you're looking at my banking information, come on down to Crusty Canuck on YouTube and take a gander. You have no respect for me. I've got no respect for your politics. You're not a politician. You're not a leader. You're just a wimp. Right? Really. And I'd step in the ring with you in a heartbeat. Hands down. Bare-fisted if need be, too. Hey? You just been challenged, sir.
Derp. Derp. Chirpa, chirpa.
Anyhow, enough of me rambling on about JT and his cronies and his full of shit policies. Let's get down to more meat and potatoes of the social climax of this country. As I mentioned with Canadian Libertarian, we were discussing identity politics and the plights of free speech and everything, and third wave feminism on campuses today. Of course, you're all aware of what's going on in the United States with a lot of colleges and universities about safe spaces and what to say, when to say, and a lot of it's regurgitated up here in the north in regards of what you can say and what you can't say and what you should identify with and what you should identify with. Now, as I mentioned in the Libertarian video, when I left the service, I had the opportunity to apply to certain colleges and universities based on my educational background and based on my time served. Let's just say that of all the applications that I saw, I was not impressed with any of them. Not because I was afraid to try or afraid to go for any kind of academic goal. The fact that the questions they asked me were my gender and my background, i.e. racial background. Now, in a free democracy, which is Canada, where everything is diverse and we're free and we're open to do this and do that, why are those questions so pertinent on those applications? Why is it important to know if I'm a male and if I have any kind of racial background? I don't judge people based on their skin, ladies and gentlemen. I never have. I'm guilty of insulting people because people have insulted me. I'm guilty of growing up in a neighborhood where kids would pick on each other. And I'm guilty of going to school where kids would pick on each other and you all say names. But I never in my life went out of my way to harm anybody because of their ethnic background or religious background or their gender. So why is that important? I can understand if you need males and females for something, but what does my ethnic background have to do with going to college or university? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's equity and it's parity. That's all I can say. Right? This is my identity. You know, I was born in Canada, raised in Canada, have Canadian values, which are similar to most of Western democracy values. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. Basic principles. And every religion has the same principle. Yet I'm not religious. So I guess you can say I was raised in a decent household where it didn't matter where you're from, didn't matter what you did or what you believed in. It's how you treated other people. Right? And with all this hoopla on safe space and what to say in some of these colleges and university, it's just pathetic. Are we not supposed to go to college and university to understand different aspects of the world? Are we not supposed to explore different possibilities, different ideas, right? Instead, we're telling kids that it's okay to cry and put up a tantrum. It's okay to demand, comfort 24/7. Really? Hmm. Some of these educators forget too that they're making about $100,000+ a year, right? And that's a pretty comfy life as far as I'm concerned. I'm pulling in anywhere from 50 odd to 70 odd, but then that's my business. Make a long story short, why are we tolerating this? A lot of these schools get government funding too when it comes to certain curricular activities, i.e., sports and political little rallies, what have you. But from what I've seen on YouTube and through the media and other independent media outlets, it doesn't look too impressive. So I'm going to recommend to my younger viewers out there, if you're watching, or if you do get a chance to watch this, get into the trades. Get into something where you can get your hands involved. Electricity, carpentry, plumbing, heating, cooling, mechanics, mechanical drafting, architectural drafting. Something where you get a little more hands-on and you get rewarded for it. That way you won't get condemned for being a young male or a young white male or a young male of this or a young male of that or a young female of this or a young female of that. Right? It's too bloody expensive to go to school, and it's just too bloody political. It's indoctrination. Really. When you have to take all these women's studies, apparently, and have to understand, take cultural sensitivity training, really? Why? And what the hell is a microaggression? I'll save that for another episode. But yeah, that's what gets me with all this diversity and equity politics and parities and stuff. People forget that we're not cattle. We can't be herded all the time and corralled into a certain doctrine. I know a lot of people try, but you're not going to try with me. Anyhow, third wave feminism. Interesting. Well, interesting to say the least. Third wave feminism. Well, don't have much to say about it, but for all you ladies out there that protest and scream about misogyny and all these nasty things that us men do all the time, I'll have one thing to say right after this. Well, I'll say more, but I'll say this though. You're not entitled to what I work for, and you're not entitled to special treatment, and you got to work your butt off like any other man has to. So, instead of taking all your dance courses and theory courses, how about getting into something that's really worthwhile? Prove to the average person out there that you can do it. That's what it is. I've had opportunities opened up for me because I worked for them, period. My wife had opportunities that opened up for her because she worked for them, period. Doesn't take rocket science to figure it out. So if you're going to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year getting education in some kind of theory, then you're missing the point. Get off your butt and do it for yourself. And trust me, good people are going to look at that and respect you all the more for that. But if you sit and whine, stomp your feet and scream every time a man says something, or every time your teacher says something, or a supervisor says something, or anybody in general says something you disagree with, well, you can either have an open debate, open dialogue, or like the rest of us, suck it up and carry on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a shout out to Lauren Southern. I didn't use her picture without her permission, but I want to give her a shout out to her for all the work she's done and thanking ahead of time, letting me use your photograph to make that point about their way of feminism. And, well, that's going to be it for this episode right now. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope I've been informative, humorous enough. And please click the links below and like and subscribe and donate if you can too. Next couple weeks, my wife and I are working on some swagger for this site. We'll be making some t-shirts and some fancy mugs for you guys to purchase and support. And I'll see you next time. Take care, and remember, don't tread anyone, love your loved ones, and humanity and merit wins the day. Bye for now.